Welcome friends to another Halo Lore video. Today we look at the Spartan-II program, the program which produced Master Chief. The program was created by Dr. Kathleen Halsey. It's partially based upon some of the findings from the Orion project, later known as the Spartan-I program. And it was an attempt by ONI to find a solution to the threat posed by the insurrection, the growing number of human rebels going against them. In the year 2517, candidates were taken by Halsey, handpicked, not just from Earth but all the colonies. They were around 6 years old at the time, and each of them had great potential, both in terms of their mental capabilities and their physical. The idea behind the Spartan-II program was to have a force that could disrupt, disorganise and demoralise the rebels, to stop the rebels forming larger forces that could actually hurt the UNSC. But they would be used, of course, most directly against the Covenant. Now, in terms of the training for the Spartan-II program, the candidates involved were separated from humanity as a whole and put under severe training for a long period of time in the Highland Mountains of Reach. This indoctrination meant that the candidates had a great loyalty to the ideals and missions of the UNSC. One of the ways they were forged is that they would be up against Special Forces personnel for many different occupations, so that they could learn what was required to fight the rebels. The process itself was put in place by Chief Petty Officer Franklin Mendez. Now, there were some ethical lines blurred here. For example, when the children were taken, there were flash clones put in place to replace them that would eventually die, and they essentially kidnapped children without their parents' consent. So some lines were crossed. The candidates also during the program will be put in dangerous scenarios so that their better survival instincts could be honed. When they reached the age of 14, in terms of their skills, they were pretty indistinguishable from the UNSC's highest rated combat elements. Perhaps think the dropship troopers. They also received augmentations. These were devised by Halsey and were pretty revolutionary, but it did leave painful scarring on these young candidates. They went under sets of various types of changes, biological, chemical and neurological. So we're talking genetic engineering, organ replacement, surgical enhancements and cybernetic implantation. And of course, these changes were not foolproof. Half of the initial pool were died or suffered great side effects, which rendered them unfit for service. I recall a section where the chief asks Mendez what will happen to those people, and Mendez assures him that they will be put to use, even if it's not in combat. And the result of this augmentation was that despite the experimental procedures and dangers, enough was successful that the Spartan-II program was viable. In these last two sections, in the first part, we're going to look briefly at Project Mjolnir. The Spartan-IIs were made to fit with the Mjolnir powered assault armour. It weighs around half a ton, and the armour is hyperdense. It's fuelled by a small fusion power plant, and only humans enhanced in the way the Spartan-IIs were capable of wearing it and using it without the risk of seriously injuring or maybe even killing yourself. It further enhanced Spartans' capabilities, improving their speed and strength. So, for example, they can lift up to 2 tons and run for extended periods of up to 20 miles per hour or 32 kph. Inside the armour is a warship-grade computer that is uplinked to the UNSC battle network. So during the course of the war, the armour would go through different generations. Some changes would be made through the reversing of alien technology, for example, the personal shield. And now we're going to look at a last bit of technology created by Halsey. Each suit of Mjolnir armour has a computer core that can host a AI. Obviously, the chief has Katana. That computer also runs a battle management system, and this is to coordinate all the suit and sensor functions. This is known as the Mjolnir BIOS and is linked directly to the Spartan through their neural interface. The undersuit of Mjolnir armour is like an exoskeleton, and there are attachment points so that armour plates, equipment modules can be attached to it. There is also a shock-absorbing gel layer, and it offers full life support when a helmet is also worn with it. The faceplate of the actual helmet houses a multi-sensor array, which has anti-flash coatings. So this allows the Spartan to see the world through augmented reality. They will see information on there showing their health status, shield power, navigation markers and threat tracker readouts, all giving them the information they need to see how well they're doing, to see what changes they need to make their strategies, so they're highly adaptable. And that, friends, is where I will end today's video.